Hello and welcome to NCKP, the Piano Conference 2025. I am Florencia Zuluaga, faculty member of the Omaha Conservatory of Music and manager of development relations at the Francis Clark Center. Are you interested in learning about the visual component of teaching group piano? If so, this session will be packed with practical tips to incorporate it into your teaching. Our presenter today is Dr. João Paulo Casarotti. Dr. Casarotti is a resident piano faculty at Glendale Community College and the director of the Piracicaba International Piano Festival in Brazil. Dr. Casarotti is a world pioneer of online piano instruction and maintains an active schedule as a pianist, clinician, and researcher. As we prepare for our presenter, I invite you to use the chat and Q&A for any questions you might have. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Casarotti for his presentation, Effective Visual Communication in Group Piano Instruction.
Good afternoon. I want to thank everybody for being here with me, as well as I want to thank the NCKP 2025 for selecting me for this presentation. My name is João Paulo Casarotti, and I have been teaching group piano in the United States since 2006. Today, I'm going to share with you some of my experience, not only teaching, but putting some of the labs together on the different institutions that I worked. You have here some of my contact information, my email, my website, my social media, my Instagram and my YouTube account, always JP Casarotti. And if you follow me, you will find lots of tutorials and lots of content that I usually post my experiments with my students. I also am going to make available this handout starting tonight at my website at www.jpcasarotti.com/home under downloads. Tonight will be available. So we will be discussing today some of the meat of the learning styles. Also, I'm going to be showing you some important data, some important quotes. Also, we will be exploring some effective classroom layouts and technology for better and interacting with our students. We will understand the whole of visual communication in group piano settings. We're going to learn how to integrate visual tools, software, and digital scores. And we will discover strategies to increase students' engagement and retention. And at the end, I'm going to be sharing with you the top 10 scenes that I use to teach piano and group piano. So, I need to remove this out of my screen. 1 second. So some of the meats of the learning styles. This is from an article, The Meat of Learning Styles by Evan Odge Straub. There's a popular idea that students learn better when they're taught in their own style, visual, auditory, kinesthetic, etc. Actually, the research found no empirical evidence to support this claim. There are over 50 conflicts model exists. None shows consistent learning gains. Based on the self-report preference, not actually learns performance. For example, if I have my own preference in terms of learning, for me is basically visual and tactile. But this is my preference. It's not really everything I learn. It's better that way. Preference is unstable and context specific. Teaching to a style does not improve retention or achievement. So what works instead? Instead of us focusing on one or other type, it's better to use a multimodal instruction to enhance attention and processing. For example, if we use the dual coding, visual and verbal, it's proving to aid memory and understanding. Focusing on active learning, not passive reception by style. It's much better. So some implications for piano instructions. Don't teach the style, teach through multiple modalities. Use visuals, camera, screens, sound demonstrations, and physical interactions, keyboard work. Encourage engagement and adaptable learning strategy for all students. I'm going to be showing you now some important data. The general population, the visual learners are 65% of the people that were interviewed. The auditory learners are 30%. Kinesthetic learners are 5%. Now, multiple modalities are between 50 and 70%. So this data supports the fact that we should all be using multiple modalities when we teach. So now some key insights for music and piano educators. Most learners are multimodal, not strictly limited to one style. As I said, estimated to 50 to 70% engage better in multiple modalities. The visual dominance, with roughly 2/3 of learners preferring visual input, these underscore the value of projected sheet music, diagrams, and hand position video. About 1 in 4 learners are auditory preferring. So verbal explanation, demonstration, and discuss are critical. So then we also have the kinesthetic learners, between 5 and 15% benefit from hands-on practice, instrument handling, and movement-based instruction. Through their presence is smaller, they should not be overlooked. So we need to be taking care of all of them, right? So tailoring to individual learning style hasn't shown improved outcomes, according to research. Rather, leveraging multiple modalities together enhance overall learning. So we have here some practical applications in group piano settings. For visual aids, use overhead cameras and screens to demonstrate hand position, movements, body alignment, as well as coordination. And you should be sharing the screen with notation. Auditory reinforcement, explain verbally, invite students to listen and repeat, and play audio models of good tone and rhythm. And then we have the kinesthetic involvement. Encourage students to engage physically by feeling the keys, experiment with hand pathways, shifting posture intentionally, or tapping rhythm, both hands separately and together, on their lap or on the piano cover. These strategies promote coordination and help internalize rhythm patterns. Now we're going to be talking about some important quotes that will be supporting my new ideas of visual learning teaching. On the importance of being seen and heard. This is by Dr. Becky Kennedy, clinical psychology and parenting expert. Children learn best when they feel, seen, heard, and valued. As another quote, often attributed to Joseph Joubert, to teach is to learn twice, but to teach effectively, the learner must be both seen and heard. On verbal and nonverbal communication. This is by Dalbert Mirabian, Professor Emeritus at UCLA. Much of what students learn is caught, not taught. And what they caught comes largely through nonverbal communication. Another quote by Peter Drucker, educator and management consultant. The most important thing in communication is hearing what isn't said. Now, in terms of visual learning, visuals help students make sense of complex information and are essential in reinforcing memory. This is by John Hattie that wrote these Invisible Learning. Now, another one by Lester Paul, Visual Communication, Image with Messages. 90% of the information transmitted to the brain is visual, and visuals are processed 60,000 times faster than text. And you show us how important it is, the visual for visual learners. On pedagogical presence, a teacher's physical presence, the way they move, gesture, and make eye contact is as important as their words. This is by Parker Palmer on the book, The Courage to Teach. Another one by Bell Hooks, effective teaching demands being truly present. Presence is more than proximity. It means being attuned visually and aurally to each learner. So now we're going to be talking about some piano lab layouts. I feel that's really important for the proper learning environment that you plan accordingly. So some of the types of labs that we found this linear row facing the instructor. This is the most common piano lab in the country, I would say. And there's some pros and cons. It's great for instructor-led demonstrations or synchronous playing. It works well with projector in front screen, easier to scale for large groups. So the instructor can have a large screen in front and some also some keyboard visualization, as well as some boards when you can write it down, and students are all looking in front. The cons of this, there's limited peer interaction. So if you're working on some ensemble pieces, or if you want to do some duets, you're going to have a hard time working with this. There's also some problems. Back rows may have reduced visibility or audio connection, and less dynamics for collaboration tasks. Now, this is an example of this lab. You have it here on the left is one of the first labs pictures that we can find from 1947. You have an old piano with visualization on the top where it lights the keyboard when the teacher plays. And you have students with a fake keyboard imitating whatever the teacher plays. Now, on the right, you have some pictures from 2011. Dr. Oscar Marchioni is one of the first pedagogues to start using big screen and cameras, as well as being able to share the score and annotations. He has an amazing lab at the University of Texas, El Paso. Now here you have some other examples. I'm not going to say the name of the schools, but this is a pretty common lab setup. But these are from really prominent and famous schools in the country. So you notice you have the students facing all the teacher, and all the visual communication is happening. The teacher can, the students can see the teacher, but the teacher cannot see the students, what they're playing. That's the problem here, I feel. Now, there's some V-shape. I know I don't have any pictures of this, but I know a really important school in Pennsylvania has this. And I feel it's a really great way for the teacher to actually see all the students. So it maintains, we call V-shaped layout, maintains a focal point on the structure. It's easier for teachers to see students' hands, keyboards, and the relationship between the keyboard and the body posture. That's ideal for camera placements and OBS scene switching. This is our software that we use for visual communication, and I'll be talking a little bit about that at the end of my presentation. There's some cons. The middle of the V can feel cramped. It may require sound dampening for clarity. So I feel that this is a great solution for labs that are smaller and the teachers want to see all the students. Now I have another one here. I couldn't find a diagram, but you can have like a circular, semicircular shape and having the teacher in front. There's some pros in here. Strong visibility line between all students and instructor. Easy for instructor to walk between students and provide individual attention, and facilitates group rhythm work and ensemble coordination. Some of the cons, it requires more floor space, and there's less efficient if screen sharing or central monitors are the main focus. Now, this is the one that I currently use, and I encourage you all to start thinking a little bit about this way. This is parallel rows, students facing each other, and the teacher is on center. So basically, it promotes peer visibility and ensemble coordination, offers an optional balance between instructor visibility and student collaboration. effective for labs using monitor screens. You can have the screen in front, but it's better if you actually have monitors on each one of the pianos. Some of the cons may cause acoustic clash if headphone systems aren't used. Can be visually distracting for some learners, and I notice this a lot with my students. Instructor visibility can be reduced for far side students. I like this system, this way, parallel rows, particularly if you have cameras around the teacher and around the students. So here's an example of Miami-Dade College. A friend of mine teaches there, and he has been watching my videos and my pictures of my labs, and he set up on this way his lab, and he also now sent me this picture below where he just places a big screen so students can watch his hand with the camera on the top. So I'm pretty proud of him for doing this, and it's a great way to teach his students. Now we have some hybrid layout, and I'm going to skip this because this can be multiple ways you can place this. It could be another way of combining different layouts. Here's some pictures of the labs, and here comes why I really put this presentation together. I feel that there's a big, how do I say, there's everybody in America, all the schools use the audio system. It's kind of a standard way with the audio system, Yamaha, Roland, where there's microphone and headphones, and the students can hear the teacher, and the teacher can hear individual students, or can hear in groups of 2 and 4, how many the teachers desire. But I feel that there's no standard way in terms of the placement of the pianos. I have a really hard time understanding how can you teach somebody to play the piano if they can't see the teacher, and how can the teacher teach somebody when they cannot see the students. So notice this lab on the bottom here, the teacher cannot see the students. And as we said before in this presentation, it's really important that the students are seen and besides being heard. So my labs, I usually develop them on a way, and I change all the schools that I work to have students sitting in front of each other on a way that I can see them all. So this is the lab at Ann Arbor College where I worked before. And on the left was the way I found. And then on the right was the way I set it up right before starting classes. And it was on a basement, really few pianos. But on this way, I could see all my students. And if I couldn't see the students on the far left, I would walk and be able to see both of them. So this is a simple lab without that much technology. Now, here is the Ann Arbor College on the second year. They gave me a different room. And as you can see, I set it up a little differently. I had more space. So I put a big screen, and I started putting cameras around myself and around the students. And I can say that this is the first lab in the country where we have cameras around the students and around the teachers. I built several scenes using the OBS in order to be able to demonstrate these on the big screen. So students would be able to see themselves, they would be able to see their peers, and they could see myself when I had to demonstrate. Notice that we installed several webcams around the room, and we mounted them on the wall. And on the right picture, you see one of the scenes that I built where I could see the students from the screen, all the students at once, and they could still see me from the top. So here's another view, how amazing it is that we can also see each other. Unfortunately, I left that position, and I'm now at Glendale Community College. And at Glendale Community College, you see, when I got the position, I had the lab all facing the teacher. And I changed it already before I start teaching. I spent the summer, and I changed it. They gave me initially, this is the lab after I set up differently. They gave me a big screen, and I had computer, and I brought in some cameras. Now, this is the first phase. On the first semester, I work with this. On the second semester, we add more technology, and they add monitors, as you can see on this picture. And they add these tracks between the pianos where we had some of the cables were on that. I'm not particularly in favor of having that space between, but since there's a level, we'll be covering this somehow. It looks much better than that right now because we kind of got rid of all those cables, but there's still a space between. But I can tell you that in this way, we'll be able to install cameras and bring this lab to the next level. Cameras where I would be able to see the students, just as I demonstrate with the Santa Barbara College. But right now, I have cameras around my piano, and the students can see me, as well as they can see several of the softwares, and the score, and some of the apps that I use. So let's talk briefly about the visual communication in piano instructions. So you can actually use the big screens, and students are used to this, to show multiple angles of cameras and multiple views. You know, our students are all hooked up with technology, and they love to see multiple views at the same time. The visual aspect when playing or teaching or learning piano is related to the score, to the instrument itself, the keyboard, and the relationship between the body and the piano. Since playing the piano is a task related with movement, coordination, and body alignment, I'm sorry, when you have more angles, you get more results. So I feel it's really important to build scenes that will be addressing specific motions or specific targeting visuals that the teacher will put together. So what is a virtual camera? This is a software that allows users to display their computers during a video call, or you can display live on your screen. It offers a more professional experience, provides many more options of video communication. You can add cameras, multiple cameras. You can use images. You can put pictures, logos. You can add videos. You can open windows from computer, tablets, cell phones, and others. Now, some of the most common virtual cameras apps that we have is ManyCam. It's a paid one, and you have the link, as well as OBS Studio. Both of these are for PC and Mac. The OBS is used for YouTubers, and it's free, and they constantly have new technology built on it, and it's an amazing tool for teaching. So the OBS Studio offers unlimited scenes. It offers you can put multiple sources like Windows captures, image, text, browser, window, webcams, capture cards, and more. There's an opportunity to seamlessly switch between scenes via custom transitions. Offers high performance, real-time video in video capture and mixing. Works with all major video conference and streaming platforms. Now, I want to refer to you here my articles that I wrote about this, and I have tutorials. The whole purpose here is just to present some ideas, but these articles here, and it will be on my handout as well, explain in detail how to build scenes and the best scenes as well. And you can find this article online for free, available on MTNA. So Back to the Future, Effective Visual Communication in Piano Lessons, and the Interdependence of In-Person, Online, and Hybrid Piano Instructions. I teach in this article specifically how to build scenes, how to record tutorials using OBS, and how to use other softwares as well. So the links for the tutorials are all available on this article. There's this other one, Effective Visual Communication Piano Lessons from AMT Magazine. That is also available. You can find this article also on my website. There's a copy of that there. Now, I want to show you a few samples of this use here of the visual communication the way we use nowadays at our school. The first one is using tutorial to boost visual communication. 2, 1. And I'm teaching cadence. I will teach you a really easy way that you can apply to all the keys. So if I'm playing here my triad, C major, when I'm going to the 4-6-4 chord, I just move my top third to the next note on the scale. So the G moves whole step to A, and the E moves half step to F. Just my top third moving up, back to where I was. Now going to the 5-6. So you can see the benefit of this. Since my lab was not fully developed, I use a tutorial during the class because it offers more visual communication tools to me. The next one is harmonization, and I'm going to show briefly. Students are practicing the left hand. We're using here Piano Marvel, and students are singing the degrees of the folk song.
5, 6. Good. Make sure
you can see on the end, I'm explaining,
okay.
moving in
start trying to put these
chords.
together?
It makes much easier for them to understand since they have the visual aspects of my teaching, have the multiple cameras, as well as the score in front of them. Now, here's some examples of tutorials, and I'm going to skip this, but I have lots of tutorials on that article that it's amazing way that you can build the scenes and use these scenes on OBS and record tutorials for your students. Now, I'm going to briefly talk to you before I finish here, my top 10 scenes that I use for teaching. So here's scene number 1, beginning the lesson. You have scene 2, where you have the score, the top. The face camera is really important these days, I feel, since COVID, as well as the top camera. And then scene number 3. So for whatever you're trying to teach, you can choose specific scenes that will best demonstrate the movements, the coordination, and the relationship of the body with the instrument, as well as this score. Scene 4, you have the left and the face, left camera in the face. Scene 5, you have a pedal camera being added in there. Scene 6 is a great one because you show a camera from far, show a little bit of the body relationship with the instrument, as well as you have a top camera in the face. Scene 7 is a multiple one. Students love this one because they can see in different angles at the same time. Scene 8, I'm using here the Classroom Maestro software. In 3 times, I'm showing the screen of it, and it's lined up with my keyboard, if you notice. Scene 9, I have just the keyboard of the Classroom Maestro with this score sharing with the iPad. And then scene 10, where I'm teaching some theory using my cell phone. This is the app Tenuto. So some important apps before I finish here. For score, it's for sharing the screen. I usually write down, annotate, and organize my scores PDF. Classroom Maestro, that allows me, it will analyze as well as it will light up the keys that I play. And it's an amazing software. And this Stream Deck, it allows me to actually change the scenes through my phone. And then we have here some video instructions, apps that you can use to create tutorials. And you can find more information about that also in my article. So we have ScreenFlow, Camtasia, and OBS that you can use also for recording tutorials. Anyway, this is the handout, and I'm going to open now for questions. I will be putting tonight this handout. And one more time, my contact information here. Let me see.
Thank you so much, João Paulo, for this amazing presentation. I'm sure for everybody who teaches group piano, they got some good ideas that they can incorporate in their teaching. And I want to encourage everybody who's attending the session to connect with João Paulo with any questions they might have, and access the handout as soon as it's available. We're running out of time for questions on the live Zoom, but please get in touch with João Paulo if you have any follow-up with him. We appreciate it very much. And again, thanks so much, João Paulo, for sharing your insights today.
Thank you.